Okay, let's do this. Okay, we're back. Gonna do another Gnostic Deluge or Gnostic Smorgasbord.
Gnostic Deluge Smorgasbord.
It's all on the table.
Like if we don't rant enough in the regular episodes.
Yeah, this one's not focused. We're gonna take a little bit from here, a little bit from there,
and who knows where we'll be.
So, I got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, start.
You got a lot to talk about.
Do I?
I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
Hey, but I need something to drink real quick.
Yeah, you need that drink, right?
I need to, yeah. So, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll just bring up one thing.
Yeah.
Okay, remember back at years ago, we were in Porter's class and he talked about the dancing woolly masters. Yeah. Remember when we tried to read that book?
Yeah. Yeah. It was written by
Dancing Woolly Masters. Yeah. And I think you had the same problem I did. Is like at first you're like, oh yeah, this is making sense, and then all of a sudden at one point I got lost and I couldn't get past a certain point.
Yeah, I didn't finish that book.
That's what I'm saying. There's a point where I was like, wait, I don't understand what I'm reading.
Yeah, good point. I'll have to. You know what? This, by the way, is the point of the Smorgasbord.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to get that book again and see if I can.
I don't know.
If I'm in the right place again, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, okay. There might, because there was just a episode of Joe Rogan, number 1352 with Sean Carroll.
Okay, just so you know, I don't watch all of Joe. I don't watch hardly any of them.
No, but I'm letting you know.
The reason why is because they're so long, man.
Yeah. Well, like that's one of the problems. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I like it, because I have hours to just drive around and listen to it.
So Sean Carroll was the
anyway, guest, right? Yeah. So he was, so anytime he has those people on, though, it can be hard to understand. I think he's some kind of physicist or whatever, but. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see this one, but I saw. Okay.
You might have seen a clip or something, but they were talking about the many worlds thing. Okay, so basically, there's like I'll try to explain it really quick, and I still don't understand exactly what they're talking about, but it made me think of some. They were talking about like an electron, it can move up or down or something. There's a 50-50 chance that it'll do.
Yeah.
But you can't figure out which one it is. And let's see. I'm not totally sure if my understanding is right.
He's a quantum physicist.
Yeah. So anyway, but he was saying that it ends up doing one or the other, up or down, but it does both. Like in another, it's this multi-world theory.
I get it.
Like, so basically.
So in this instance, it went one way.
It actually did, but then there's another one that branched off.
I like it.
Okay, to go another way,
which creates unlimited.
Yeah. So basically, like I'm talking to you now, you hit me in the face or something.
Well, that won't happen on this, but it happened in a different.
So it just happened but that guy's really mad. But so something like that where it branches off, and okay.
I like that, Mark.
So I was like thinking along the lines, okay, if this is real, I don't know, it's an interesting idea. I was like, that would be an interesting way. Okay, so you have a soul, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, follow me here.
Is this going to get deep?
This is going to get, hopefully I may be able to explain it. Okay. But you have a soul, and you're like, okay, what I would need to do, say you're God or something. What I want to do is I want this soul to be able to attain enlightenment or salvation or whatever.
Okay.
So the best way to do it is with this multi-world thing. So you put the same soul, so it starts off the same, and but then it's branching off in all these different directions with different things that happen and decisions. So it's all happening simultaneously, and eventually, and so at the same, this same soul, this sounds so crazy, will get that enlightenment of salvation.
That's interesting concept.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I do see it. It's kind of like an organically created God, where like you, for example, if
so
we
crazy.
believe, if we were to say that, if we were to like look at this and like, I think the way that most people view life as a very linear, like there's one dimension, one way, right? And if we were to take that and we're to say, I want to start at the monad, I want to start at a very small instance, and I want it to grow and like experience the world and experience life, and progress and progress and progress.
Yeah.
You most of the time, most of the time, if not all the time, like it's gonna like deviate somewhere. Like, oh man, it's messed up.
Yeah.
Start again, and because people are gonna make decisions in their lives that are gonna screw their whole life up.
Yeah, and then they're gonna have to go through another life.
Correct.
To get it right.
And it just but if you can just like break it all off at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's an interesting perspective. So, I see that.
It was just a thought I had because I don't even know if I even believe, but I was like, reincarnation is such a really slow way to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why wouldn't you drop it in there? Because it's like you said, you screwed up there. Now you're gonna have to wait and die, be born again. It's like, no. What you do is you drop the soul or whatever you want to call it,
I hear you.
in, and then it just branches, and then eventually that soul will get there.
I like your sound effect, by the way. That was awesome. Yeah.
So anyway, it was just a thought I had, and I was like, "That's cool. That seems like a way more efficient way to."
No, I actually, if you want, I'll reveal my craziness. I believe that already in a way.
What?
Yeah, I'm crazy.
Okay.
The reason why I say I believe that is I had never thought about it in that perspective before, so I don't believe it. But I can't claim that I've already believed it. But what I do believe. Should I talk about my belief? Anyways, I don't know.
It's fine. This is just for me, something that came to my mind.
One of the things that I go through a lot right now, I've actually kind of started thinking this way ever since I started reading. Have you ever heard of Neville? Goddard Neville?
No.
The Power of Imagination? Wow, really?
The Power of Imagination?
Yeah.
Is it old?
Yeah.
You're like Goddard's Neville? I wonder if
this is another one of his books right here.
The Power of Awareness?
Yeah.
I wonder if, you know what? Okay, so talk about it. I'm going to LibriVox, by the way.
This is what I read this actually about a month ago. What I like about Neville, I call him Goddard Neville. Neville Goddard. What I like about his writing, he writes a lot about the power of imagination and how basically, and this is actually where I've been getting this from.
So he's I'm sorry.
He's what?
I'm just gonna listen to you.
So I've also been reading a lot from a lot of Ralph Waldo Emerson's books. You're familiar with a little bit about.
I know
you're
the
aware
name.
of who he is.
Yeah.
So Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Didn't he do that 2 roads to Virginia Wood? Blah blah.
Is he the one that did that one?
I don't know.
So
maybe
he was an essayist, poet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was he does a lot of work. A lot of his belief and a lot of his writing was about how we don't need external sources for our enlightenment. That it's all already within us.
Yeah. And that's cool. That's really
So one of his profound essays that I might actually reference in this if I have time is called Self-Reliance, and that's basically what he talks a lot about is how we don't need to be looking at other things to have awareness of who we are. It's all already there, and that's what Neville Goddard talks a lot about.
Yeah.
And so it's really a fascinating book.
Well, that's remember that book, because you on one of your Brandon has his own little thing that he's been working on and trying out with a daily.
Yeah, I have a little podcast I've been doing. Yeah,
he's fallen short. And
it hasn't been
it's that was like the most. Anyway, it's a tough thing, especially if you're he was talking about James Allen.
Oh yeah, James Allen, the man as a man thinketh. As man thinketh.
And I had just listened to one by him called the Path of Peace, or the Way of Peace.
The Way of Peace.
Anyway, that book was so like it was exactly what it like. He made it to where it seemed like enlightenment or whatever, or the communion with God or perfection. Yeah. Okay, that the perfection was actually possible.
Yeah.
Not this thing that you can't do. And I was like, it was so good.
So Neville Goddard, so good. In his writings, and he has several of them, and I have another book at home that I might bring next time. But Neville Goddard, the way that he looks at it is, you are actually perfect right now. You're just not aware of it yet. And so this life is not about progressing. It's about becoming aware of something that's already happened. And so, and he's a kind of a spiritual guy. So he actually references like Jesus a lot, and he actually quotes a lot from like the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that he sees Jesus is Jesus being what he's. I'll just give you a summary of my interpretation of the way Neville Goddard sees Jesus, as basically Jesus walked into Jerusalem, and he basically said, "I'm God," and he decided that day to become God. And that's when he started his ministry. And they say, "What are you?" And so like the Pharisees would say stuff like, "Who do you think you are?" It's like, "I'm the Son of God. I'm God." And they're like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
But basically, he became aware of who he was, and that kind of goes back to a Hermetic view of like, hey, we're all like we're all a piece of God in one way or another, right? And so it's about really becoming aware of who you are. And so now tying it into this very interesting outlook that you provided from this Joe Rogan, what's his name, Sean Carroll?
Sean Carroll. Yeah. Well, it was just a thought, because he didn't actually say that.
No.
The thought of that made me go, oh wait, that would be a way more efficient way to, if the universe was trying to enlighten, get a soul to the perfect state where it needed to be, like you're saying.
Yeah.
That.
And I'll just end this off with my agreement towards that is one of the things that lately I've been seeing in myself. I've been trying to interpreting, but I've also been telling it to other people. And I think my wife's name is Anne, for example. We were talking a few weeks ago about something, and I had just been reading a lot of the Hermetica. I just finished Neville Goddard's The Power of Awareness, good book. And she mentioned something about a struggle and how she wants to get over it. And I said, you're already gone. You've already done it.
What'd she say to that?
She's like, she's like, no, you've already, like, you don't have to suffer through this anymore. You're already there.
Yeah.
You've already accomplished it. Like, what are you talking about? And so I explained what I was talking about, and it was kind of like a, the whole like mind blowing, like, wow.
Yeah,
really?
It's like right now she's just caught up in it. She's caught. Okay.
Yeah, and that's what. And so you see why I'm saying I already kind of believe that. Like, yeah, you've already done it.
Yeah, or it's happening somewhere. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That's kind of like very stoic too.
Yeah.
Attitude is like, you just can't. There's things that you just kind of say, well, what can I do?
Yeah, totally.
But in a way.
So that was anyway. Interesting insight, Mark. Interesting insight.
I thought it was kind of I'm just saying, future religion people, if you want a really good concept, because I don't believe. I don't. Well, I don't have. I don't say I believe it. It was just a thought in my head. I was like, that. That I was like, that's kind of a cool way. That would be a cooler way and a more a better way to look at it than I've had all these lives and I'm an ant and whatever, blah
Yeah.
blah. I'm like, well, if you take a soul and you want it to get, you just let it branch off. Why does it have to be eons and eons?
If people who believe in God, right, that there's like an all powerful being who runs the whole show, right? And there's different levels. They either believe in many gods or they believe in one ultimate God, or you know what I'm saying. But whatever the case is, if you believe that if there is like something else out there that runs the show that has and there's reason behind the unreason, if you believe that, then you should be able to believe that he or she or they are capable of allowing from what you said to happen. You know, if they are so powerful and so magnificent and so beyond what we can comprehend, then there's they could. Why are we taking these such linear paths?
Yeah, that's one of the things, and maybe that is the way we look at things is how we live. Yeah, we look at it. Time goes by. Yeah, So, but whenever and sure, physicists, they say that it's almost like a religion because it's crazy. Like, whoa, this isn't even. Nobody ever has thought this way. Like, and it's just this crazy. So, if you begin getting out of your own head, and I think that's at least in Buddhism and stuff, and if you are able to get out of your thought process and be able to actually just look at it, outside of it, then maybe you can get, figure some things out. But right now we're stuck with in our thinking heads, and we're thinking linear and this is the way it is, this is the way things go, and so we keep on repeating the same things over and over. But anyway,
thanks for sharing that, Mark.
Do you have anything else that I mean, future episodes we were talking about doing what do you think? Do you want to do the Hermetica in the future?
So, yeah, I think I really subscribe a lot to a set of texts, I guess, right? Manuscripts and these texts that are referred to as the Hermetica or the Corpus Hermeticum. And so I think that those really, I see them as kind of like the Western Tao Te Ching in a way, right? Like it's these concepts of understanding that are kind of timeless. Mm-hmm. But the thing is like in our culture, no one's ever heard of them. Yeah, everybody's heard of.
Well, it's supposedly supposed to be Eastern, or African, or Egyptian, but I don't know if that.
But they kind of disappeared and they fell. It fell. The philosophy, Hermetic philosophy, definitely fell during the rise of Christianity, and so like a lot of things did.
Well, supposedly the Hermetic teachings kind of came back in the Renaissance, and that's what actually helped to.
And the thing is, and so like when you're
it'd be interesting to go through the history of it. We can.
Well, I think and I would love to do that. Like when you're living in a time where it's actually against the law to practice a religion other than Christianity, you had these secret Hermetists, right?
Yeah.
Just like you had
secret Christians back in Rome.
Exactly. You do have a lot of the philosophy still surviving throughout time, because you have your Copernicuses and your Newtons who were Christian, but and they were always getting in trouble for what they said.
Yeah.
But they were only Christian because that's what they had to be. Because that's what if they claimed that they weren't, then they would be, killed.
Yeah.
And so, but in the things that they taught or that they discovered, or in their writings, you can see the that they actually had a lot of different views, and those things exist. Those things can survive through time. But what's good about the Tao, De Ching, and stuff like that is they kind of had an easier time surviving. It seems like.
Well, because they were the reason they had such an easy time surviving is because Christianity
didn't go there and ruin it.
Or, well, I'm not just going to say Christianity, but actually Christianity, Islam.
You're not blank. Okay, correct. Yeah.
But these religions that they were cut off
Western
because
religion,
basically after Genghis Khan and stuff, and then the plague, they basically didn't mess with China because there was actually the plague came from China.
Did it?
Interesting.
I know that.
Yeah, something with hamsters.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I thought it was like from rats in Italy.
That's
interesting.
Well, no, but they were shipping. They were having a really good trade going on in the 1300s or something like that. Anyway, it was, and it started in China and it's really very interesting. But so that they were kind of cut off until Marco Polo. Wait, maybe my anyway. Don't.
I believe it. Whatever you're saying, I believe.
I believe it all. But what I was trying to say is that they didn't have the influence from these different religions, so they were able to keep theirs.
Yeah,
and that's why Buddhism and stuff up until the Muslims, came in and started spreading stuff.
Got it. Interesting.
And
there's a history lesson.
So Christianity didn't really sweep into the countries the same way. But so that's probably why they kind of stayed with their own thing. But you read the curious thing, and we were talking about this, is that you read the Tao,
yeah,
or the teachings of Buddha or whatever, but then you read some of the stuff from the Bible, for New Testament and stuff, and you're like, this is the same stuff. I had this whole book on the parallels teachings of Jesus and
Buddha.
Yeah,
really,
and it was really cool. But actually, I think I lent it out and never got it back. So, oh wait, what were we?
I think that's all. I don't know if I was saying anything profound or in particular.
Oh, okay.
But the other thing is, one of the things I've been doing is I've been reading, like I mentioned earlier, I've been reading Ralph Waldo Emerson's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting. He has a really interesting take on spirituality and I guess more than that, like this experience, So.
Emerson.
Yeah.
Huh.
Here, I'll read something from him.
Who'd have thunk?
Get it?
Emerson, man.
I have this one. This is a good one right here. The spiritual Emerson. Look at that quote.
Be and not seen. Remember that book, To Have or to Be? Was it Eric Fromm?
Yeah.
That we read?
Yeah.
That one was really good. But.
Okay, here. I don't want to lose my place.
Come on, Brandon, make it count. You got to impress us.
I can't mess this one up. Okay, I like this one right here. Okay. The soul always hears an admonition in such lines. Let the subject be what it may. The sentiment they instill is of more value than any thought they may contain. So he's basically talking about how, like, you can read something and you can learn something from reading something that might not, somebody else might learn something completely different from that same phrase. What he's saying is, like, it's not always like the actual words that are written that actually matter. Sometimes people need you're gonna learn something that you need to learn, and I think this kind of fits in with like this whole like it's already happened type of thing, or like you are what you think you are in a way, where
I thought it was you are what you eat,
or you reap what you sow. Oh no, it's all of those things, isn't it?
Could be.
But anyways, like
Dude,
the whole point is like how often like
one eternal round.
Wow, this is. But the thing is, like, you can pick up a book and read something, and like if I've been reading a lot of the Hermetica lately, I'll be like, wow, how hermetic! This is awesome. I see how these things all tie in. Or if I'm reading, you're basically gonna see what you kind of need to see in anything.
Well, see, I wasn't sure because I was like, wait, so are you? I thought maybe that he was saying that was a bad thing, that you're inferring things that are said or read. You're putting your own personality into. You get a text from somebody like says, you're like, oh, where you at or whatever. You say something and they text you back, hey, and you're like, wait, are they mad at me?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But I don't know.
No, I think.
But you're saying this is more of a pure.
The sentiment they instill is of more value than any thought they may contain.
Okay, so you can actually get something out of something. Okay. Well.
Yeah, that's all I got from this.
Oh, I had another thing on electrons and stuff.
Oh, deep stuff again. Is this the same from the same
I don't know because I was like, oh no, this has to do with meditation, I think.
Okay.
Like, okay, so I don't know if this is gonna make sense because, like I said, I tried to read the Dancing Woolly Masters and I couldn't. I've tried to read some of these things on like what's his Neil deGrasse Tyson, like that little book.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what the heck? But it's funny. I was trying to read it, and all of a sudden there was this guy. It was in a waiting room at a doctor's appointment, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm trying to read this. I'm not really getting it. And me and him started talking, and then I was able to understand a lot. Anyway,
that's what I was just saying, right?
Well, no, I know, but I was saying, talk. Yeah. But I was saying, but like sometimes people say things and I just don't, can't get them. But because have you ever heard about like if you're watching something, it'll react differently or something? Like an electron, it'll being observed.
Oh no,
it acts differently than unobserved.
This is crazy. No, I haven't heard anything about this. This is pretty crazy though. It sounds crazy.
Well,
like awesome crazy.
I know, but I don't understand totally. But
you'll get me going on a whole thought process here.
Well, so I'm saying if you observing something, it somehow changes things. I may be totally misunderstanding, and I may be, whatever. But but having to do with meditation, I was thinking, like, if you've ever meditated, you're watching your breath, or you're observing your breath or feeling it.
Yeah.
But I was noticing that whenever I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm not paying attention to my breath, and my breath is working, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not observing it. Whenever I'm observing or trying to observe it, or by not observing it,
Yeah.
But it changes. I'm not breathing naturally, But so in meditation, if you were to somehow be able to observe it outside, like not observing, but not observing.
Yep.
Like maybe that's when you reach something. Like
got it. I see.
So you're not actually changing. So I know. So imagine if you're able to walk through a room.
The key word there was imagine, by the way. Go ahead.
But walk through a room and not observing, like walking through, like I'm trying to think where you could walk through without observing, so you're not disturbing. Could you walk on water? Could you walk through a wall? If you're not
because they change when you're there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I got it.
But you're like So is that what enlightenment is or something? You know, like being able to, like, you can actually look at your breath or actually be focused on something without changing it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know.
I can tell you right now that
You're just crazy things.
When I was driving here to your house today, I remember I started to panic because I couldn't remember your gate code. I'm like, oh great, I'm already running late as it is. I can't remember his gate code. Now the gate ended up being open anyways. By the way.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't know that it was gonna be open. So I basically I have your gate code written down at home.
Did you astral project?
I kind of just went home real quick in my mind. I went home and looked at my desk on a piece of paper. And
really?
Yeah. Now, it's all in my mind, right?
Oh, that reminds. Yeah. Keep going.
It's all in my mind.
Yeah.
But I actually quickly traveled home, looked at my desk, and I couldn't remember the number, right?
Mm-hmm. Don't say it. Do not say it,
because
Brandon.
that's a private number, and it's for your security.
I don't want people breaking in.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna say it, but I couldn't remember the number, and so I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna have to call Mark, and I'm gonna be even later than I already am. But so what I did is, and I did this while driving, so that's also horrible. But I actually tuned out for a second, went home real quick in my mind, looked at my paper, and saw the number, what it was. Maybe, that's what it is.
Maybe that's one of those key things too. But that's pretty interesting. Gosh dang it! Because now that reminds me of this thing in Hermetic.
We were almost done, and I just went. I made
but where they were talking about basically being able to be in India, like.
Oh yeah.
In your mind, like you can travel there instantaneously. But I can't find it.
I read that and I thought it was interesting that it mentioned India.
But that's yeah. Because anyway, that reminded you saying that reminded me of that, and I was like, maybe Anyway, I'm not gonna be able to find it, but it was something like about that. But have you had that experience where actually you're trying to remember it, but then if you just kind of let your body go into autopilot. Awesome. I thought that was going to be this.
Back.
Yeah, you're like, you punch it in even, but you're so hard, you're concentrating so hard that you can't get it. So maybe that's parallel. I don't know.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, that's the same. It's
Brandon just astro projected home.
Well, the reason
Anne's like, what are you doing here? I thought you left 15 minutes ago.
The reason why I did that was because I don't have a good memory. I suck at remembering numbers totally. And so, for example, I was rereading a new edition of the Tao Te Ching, which is interesting. Is this one is by Ursula K. Le Guin, who writes what does she write? It's called.
I don't know.
You never heard of this author?
No.
Have you ever heard of the Tales of Earthsea or? She's a fiction. She writes fiction.
Oh, she is.
Yeah.
She does.
Have you ever heard? I think it's called the Tales of Earthsea or the It's about a wizard. It's about a wizard named Geb.
Really?
Dave's read it for sure. Anyways, she writes fiction, and she's one of she's on the same list as Tolkien, right?
What?
Yeah.
She's popular. She's a good one.
And apparently, I found out that she translated the Tao Te Ching.
So you're like, sweet.
So yeah, I bought it, and I'm reading through it, but I didn't have a bookmark, and so I had to remember where I was.
Oh, forget that. Yeah.
And so what I did was a few weeks before that, in my mind, because my memory, I don't have a very powerful mind. Okay, I can't think too far. Okay, and so I knew that Sherlock Holmes had this. What is it called? A mind mansion, a mind.
I don't know.
So basically, I knew the concept was you can. So I built this doorway, a megalithic doorway.
Yours is just a shack. Your mind mansion.
Yeah. It's not even
it's
a shack.
An outhouse.
It's not even a shack. My mind mansion is actually just the door. I can't think past that yet.
You're like, well, I got the door.
And so I have these two megalithic stones, and then a big top stone, like Stonehenge. And that's the doorway. And then there's nothing on the inside. It's like an empty field. because I don't have the mind power to construct more yet.
Yeah.
But anyways, I scratched notes on the doorway, so I scratched the number 17 on the door, and so.
Wait, that's my gate code. You just gave it away.
So I scratched the number 17, and then I also started doing that, and so I have this podcast I've been doing, and when I edit
and you forgot to do it every weekday?
No. Yeah, exactly. When I edit it, I need to like go back to a certain time and cut out some time.
So has it been working?
Yeah, it's been working. So if I go in my mind and I actually visualize myself going up to these 3 stones that form the doorway, and I can say, okay, I got 17 there. I got 3 minutes and 23 seconds here, because that's the time that I noted that I needed to go back to and cut. So I got 3:23 here. But the thing is, I never wrote your gate code down.
Don't say it.
And so now it's on there now.
Oh, it is? It's
on the wall now. It's actually on. If you go around the edge, there's actually a picture of Mark, and it has your gate code on it. It's where I'm going to store people's birth dates and stuff there.
Brandon, I got a surprise for you.
What's that?
That mansion's already built. No, but I think, I mean, geez, if you have this house, if you have the doorway where you're able to write all this stuff, I think the mansion's there.
Yeah, it'll be coming. But so when you turn the corner, on the other side of the stone, I have a picture of Mark, and not just Mark, all the people, like my mom's there, and I have all the people in my life that are in my close circles.
That sounds like a wall.
It's like, well, these are megalithic stones.
Oh.
These are huge, like columns. Huge columns. This door's like 15 feet tall. Just so you know. Yeah, it's a megalithic.
You really built.
I am preparing for when I'm taller than when I am now. But the point is like it's gonna be like a big like temple.
Wait, we're in Sherlock Holmes. Is this in the movies or is it in the books?
In the books, Sherlock Holmes is brilliant.
Yeah.
When he tunes out for a while, he's basically going into his imagination and he's like recycling through events that have happened, and he kind of like, you know how they say like he's like what's it called?
Photographic memory.
Photographic memory.
Yeah.
It's because like what that concept of it is if you want to remember something, then you got to like put something in your mind mansion.
Who's that? There's a lady she was in the show Taxi, who remembers every single
Jessica
day.
Tandy?
I don't know.
I tried with Daisy. Oh, really? In Taxi, the TV show?
Yeah. But in real life, she can remember everything
one of the main actors.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was a rant, right?
She's got not a mansion. She's got like a continent.
So yeah, that's the concept right there. So, anyways, now your gate code is on the wall, next to all the information I have about you, Mark. Which is right now is only your gate code.
Well, that's all you need to know, man.
That's all I need to know. But the thing is like, that's my story on what happened. Why did I bring that up?
Because
I had to remember something. Anyways, yeah. See, anyways.
I don't know why.
My memory sucks, and so one thing is
we can't even remember why.
Yeah, I should have.
Oh, Muriel Henner.
I don't know the name, but she has like one of those kind of memories, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that Wait, is it? Yeah.
So
Yeah, Muriel Henner. Anyway, it's like, oh, she's got. Hey, maybe you should take her tips. I mean.
Oh my gosh, she actually has Muriel Henner's 5 tips for improving your memory.
So supposedly this. Anyway, it's really interesting, but. Okay, so basically, I guess this one's kind of about the power of your mind.
I think so.
I mean,
I guess so. Unintended, but yes.
Yeah, so it was just some interesting thoughts that we've had over thing.
That's
and
all.
Brandon's got his little Stonehenge memory thing with all this graffiti on it. Like, spray painted.
Yeah.
All right, well, oh yeah, so in the future maybe we'll do some Hermetica or
anything really.
Yeah, it's all about.
I'm drawn to that quite a bit right now.
But I'm saying the Gnostic deluge is just to be flooded with all kinds of knowledge.
It's a delusion,
whatever
man.
we like.
It's a delusion. You don't have control over what happens.
And you better learn to swim.
Yep.
Or wear a life vest.
Or
that's what we should do every time we come in with life vests. Well,
it's crazy out there.
The deluge. Well, so anyway, we'll get out of here. Thanks for tuning in for this smorgasbord. If you have any comments, whatever, you can leave them.
Yep.
But
thanks.
Don't be mean.
Nope.
Don't be cruel.
Don't be a jerk.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Bye.